Hey, welcome to the Razzle Dazzle Show, a podcast where we talk about our favorite video games and all things pop culture with an emphasis on our favorites. We're your hosts, Jared and Chaz.
Hello.
And on this edition of Raz Daz Reviews, we are talking about Crypt of the Necrodancer by Brace Yourself Games. The Necrodancer's back in an all-new rhythm game. Dragged into a strange new world, Cadence must engage in musical combat with monsters surging through the rift. Face pulse-pounding rhythm riffs where every beat is a battle, all set to an original electric soundtrack by Danny Baranowski and friends. We will provide a copy of this game by Brace Yourself Games, but our opinions are still our own. And with all that being said, it's Razzle Dazzle time!
3, 2, 1, bring it on!
So Chaz, we have come out of the rift. We have been playing this game non-stop since the game came out on February 5th. I can't tell you how long I've been waiting for this game and how much I love the Necrodancer series. And I'm so happy that we finally got this opportunity from Brace Yourself Games to collaborate with them and partner with them in reviewing this amazing brand new game. So, Chaz, where do you want to start?
I'm going to start off with saying thank you. I have not experienced any of the Necrodancer games before this one. I'm very excited to finish this game and start, I believe you said it was Crypt of the Necrodancer?
Yeah.
As well. I'm excited to experience both of them. I really love the music in this game. I usually don't like music in games outside of, as we know, Guitar Hero. Most games don't, seem like people put, a lot of energy into the music. They're kind of just little beat pads going on in the background, but I actually like this one a lot. And as I play the songs, I like to mess with around with difficulty, and the more the songs play and repeat, because I'll go up the levels from easy, medium, hard, impossible. It gets just more catchy and more catchy the more you listen to it. And I even caught myself today just while I was washing dishes, just humming the songs. I was like, wow, I think I'm broken. I have a new melody stuck in my head that lives up there for rent free.
Yeah, so for those of you who are not aware of the Necrodancer series now, the game, or this series, first started with Crypt of the Necrodancer, a roguelike rhythm game, dungeon crawler. It's a very cool concept, and from personal experience, I have played it. It is very hard, but man, music is at the center of this series, and the sequel to that, it's not a direct sequel, it's kind of like a spin-off, because it's also a collaboration with Nintendo. It's Cadence of Hyrule featuring Crypt of the Necrodancer. We did I did a review on it about a year or so ago, just specifically talking about that game and breaking it down. Absolutely love it. One of my favorite games, period, just because I'm such a huge fan of Zelda's music, the music of the series, and also Danny Baranowski was remixing these beloved Zelda soundtracks for the Necrodancer, adding a Necrodancer vibe to it. It blends so well, and since dungeon crawling is already kind of ingrained in Zelda, it's just everything about it is perfect, and it just works well together. For the new game, Crypt of the Necrodancer, we're not crawling through dungeons anymore or crawling through crypts. It's very similar to a Guitar Hero type of game. It's still a rhythm game, right? But instead of pressing multicolored buttons, you're at least since it's released on the PC, you're pressing the arrow keys as it comes down, right? It's really cool, and I think it really emphasizes more on this is a rhythm game. This isn't a rhythm game and this other thing. No, this is a rhythm game through and through, and I'm so hyped about this that I still can't believe that we got a chance to play it and get to talk about it. Okay, so the music, it's gonna be the main topic of this discussion, of this review, of course, but we have to give credit where credit's due. This brand new soundtrack has 30 plus rhythm riff tracks by Danny Baranowski, Jules Conroy, Alex Maukala, Josie Brechner, Sam Webster, and Nick Nosbaum, with more coming. Just recently they released some new levels featuring music with Super Meat Boy and stuff. It's really cool, but I cannot get enough of Danny's music here. It's so good in every way. I'm a big fan of hip hop, lo-fi, kind of vaporwave stuff, all this other type of kind of genres of music that is very much associated with video games. And I'm not saying Danny's music is these things. I'm saying Danny has this way of extracting these feels and making like his own kind of genre specifically for these games, if that makes sense at all. Like, I absolutely love it when musicians and composers take multiple different aspects of what a genre can be and like mash them together, because a lot of these tracks in this game, like, we have some funk, we have some soul a little bit, we have some pop, but we also have some like heavy metal and stuff. But like, there's this through line with each one that has this, like, I don't know, it has a vibe to it. Does that make sense?
I was gonna ask you, like, to me, I hear like a retro vibe, like a hint of retro in it. Yeah, just mixed with all of that, and like it gives like the little arcade sound. It gives me like a little bit of a flashback of the rhythm games back at Arcade Odyssey, and that's like the little nostalgia. That's probably what hooked me. Right when
I think that's
it. I think it's the nostalgia of hearing the little retro like beats in there, still mixed with like the different genres.
Yes, exactly. So there's that through line right there, with like the classic types of sounds that we hear in retro video games, like the beeps and boops, but like fully fleshed out on top of amazingly well composed music with expanding through genres. It's a recipe for success, and all the musicians in this game, in this series, has done an amazing job with it. I can't not love just the first level, like the theme song for this series. It's so good, and God, I just can't get enough of it.
The first level, you mean the song Disco Disaster? You talking about that one? Yeah, that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. After I beat it on hard, and it was too late for me. My Spotify was already open. It was added to my playlist. I had to.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I have a special playlist for like video game music, and Crypt of the Necrodancer is there too. I usually listen to Crypt of the Necrodancer, or just Necrodancer music in general, especially Cadence of Hyrule, for when I was studying, like when I was going through school, like I put it on for like background music for a lot of things. Like even at work, I find myself going back to this series just to have something on to get some things done, like it's always a vibe, and it's always like a great thing to listen to whenever like you need to, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I have not done what you've done and made a playlist out of it. Like when all my music is together, and a lot of people don't like this when I play music out loud, because my music consists of like songs from movies, songs from animes, pop songs, rock songs, obviously all the natural genres, and then games like this one.
Yeah.
And so you have me thinking. I got over 3,000 songs to look through now, but like I think I might. I make this playlist of like all the songs from like games and put them like in one spot.
Yeah,
I just have that. It's like probably my gaming playlist. Like when I play Elden Ring or something, just have that going around in the background. And just thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I did not know my playlist was needing that.
Yeah, definitely. So why don't you start about telling us like your favorite aspects of the game so far?
Okay, my favorite aspect, obviously, I have told you this before, would be the boss battles.
Battles.
I don't know why. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the whole monsters coming down the road and you beat them up, cool and everything.
Yeah.
But the boss battles are my favorite thing. It's like even though, so as you play the boss battles,
I beat the game.
Normal.
Dude.
Yeah, normal. It tells you where to dodge, right? Have you played it on hard?
I have not. No.
The arrows are gone.
Really?
The arrows are gone.
Oh my god.
And that's what made me like doing it on normal. I was like, cool. That was a cool aspect. But like as I told you, normal, hard, impossible. I went to hard, and I was just sitting there. I was like, wait, and I was like, okay. I remember the tutorial saying, hey, be careful with the arrows.
Yeah,
they're not what they used to be. I'm like, okay, I guess my arrows are just probably gonna look a little different, if anything. No, arrows were gone. So I just remember Harmony. It was the first one you go against, the first boss.
Yeah,
Harmony, and she jumped up, and I was like, arrow, no arrow came. And I was like, oh, okay, understood. And I think you should try it on hard. I think you'll like it too, because it's like a reflex thing.
Right.
As you know, there's a timer for the boss fights.
Yeah.
And it's not like a timer that times out once you get to a certain like allotted time.
It's tracking how long it takes you to beat it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I abused that system of not being timed out, and I was just trying to learn the movesets. And as you know, like when you get her health down to a certain point, she yells or she transforms, right?
Yeah. Yeah, another phase. Yeah.
Another phase. But the other phases, she attacks differently, as you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But without the arrows, you have to like learn the attack pattern on the fly, because it's not the same. Since the timer continues like to extend, it can't just like repeat like so like as you know, for the songs, the bats, the skeletons, the slimes, they'll all come in their same order over and over again. But for the boss fights, it's not the same order over and over again. And that was like my favorite thing. I was like, okay, so this keeps me on my toes. It's still to the beat, and playing it on hard, the arrows are now gone. So I am just like, I have to stay in tune. And if I like slouch just a little bit, that's it. Yeah. And I really love that part. That would be my favorite aspect of the game. My favorite gameplay of the game is the boss fights.
Yeah, man. And I know you are a masochist and you love putting yourself through torture when you play through video games. And you told me like right off the bat you were gonna play on hard mode or impossible. I mean, I did say I left impossible for you because I knew you were gonna love it and fall in love with this game. I mean, like, you are the resident rhythm game master, at least for us, right? So I knew you were gonna fall in love with this game, so that's why I teased you about it and kind of baited you to go the extra mile for that. But I think to make sure I'm clear about the distinction of this new game of Rift compared to Crypt, right? Crypt dungeon crawler, you're crawling through a randomly generated dungeon on the beats of the music. So like every move you make, you got to go on the beats, right? So you got to have that internal metronome, or like there's a metronome like, you know, in on the screen and stuff, and you follow that, right? And every move you make has to go with the music, and that includes combat, and that includes like finding items, whatever. Cool. All right, that's the general gist of it. And also the boss fights, you know, you got to move around in the room while attacking and dodging, all in time with the music. So it's very easy to get overwhelmed with Crypt of the Necrodancer. And I'll be honest, I haven't gotten far in like the 8 years it's been out since I started playing the game. I've only ever beat like the first boss. And it's a hard game, you know, and of course it is. It's a roguelike. You're supposed to die over and over and over again. With Rift of the Necrodancer, like we mentioned, it's very Guitar Hero-esque, right? The enemies are coming down what's supposed to look like a guitar neck, right? And once they come down to like the arrows, you hit that corresponding arrow to beat them, and each monster has their own patterns and their own special unique abilities, whatever. To go back to the boss fights, I like that this game, to prevent itself from getting stale quickly, is adding the uniqueness of each minigame and boss fight. Each minigame, the minigames are fun as hell. The yoga, the making burgers, the taking the pictures and stuff, you know, you're still going to the music for each action, but you're not looking at a guitar neck or anything. It's like it's a very cute chibi, like, you know, picture and animations, and like that's the art style, which we'll get to. But the boss fights, to go back to what we were talking about, each one of them is extremely unique. The first boss is going to be extremely different than the second boss, and that includes their attack patterns and the way you're supposed to attack them. Like, the hardest boss for me was the second to last boss. I forget its name or their name, but it's like the skull one, right? Have you gotten that far?
No, I have not gotten that far, but are you referring to, I think, the Reaper?
The Reaper, yes. Oh my god, dude. Not only do you have to like pay attention to the music, but it goes through phases where there's this specific like skull pattern that every time it aligns with you, I guess. Like when it aligns to the center, you're supposed to hit that, but if you hit anything else, you get attacked. And it gets more and more complicated as you progress. It is extremely hard, and I found it harder than even the last boss, but whatever. I think the boss designs are really cool in themselves. Like I really liked the king and queen, right? And how like their boss fight was very chess oriented and stuff like that. And I really liked that song too. And yeah, man, the boss fights are so cool and so clean that it's a good breath of fresh air from the standard Rift levels.
Yeah, the bread and the butter of the game.
Yeah.
I will not shoot the bread and the butter down of the game. They did make it like the different, like the monsters, like you said, they have their own unique abilities, which makes it better than just doing the, when this gets to this spot, tap here. Yeah. It had you like thinking ahead. Like, so for the, we spoke about it, like the bats.
Yeah, the bats.
The blue bats and the gold bats, or not the gold bats, the blue bats and the red bats. Mm-hmm. The blue bats were like, I realized what you said when you said they have a pattern. Mm-hmm. And like I looked a little bit closer and I was like, the bats, they're facing different directions. Okay, this can help me. Let me see what Jared was talking about. And now like when the bat arrives, for anybody who doesn't know, when the bats get to like the corresponding arrow and you click it, the bat will jump back up and be in the different line. So you have to like keep up with that. And then they can also like move from like, there's 3 lines. We're going to call it like line 1, 2, and 3.
Left, up, and right. Yeah.
Yep. So the bat, if it's on the right side and it's facing the right direction, it will just teleport to the left one.
Yeah. It'll go around the board. Yeah.
And like you wouldn't think it would do that because, you know, everything's right there on the line. Everything's right there in front of you. And those would just move everywhere. The tricky ones for me, I will admit, is gold skeletons. Yeah. The gold skeletons are the tricky ones for me because they run away. And I don't be ready for that because once it runs away to me, out of mind, out of sight. I mean, out of sight, out of mind. So I'm like, ooh, I got it. Or double tap it when one has a shield. I was like, cool, it's no longer there, not my problem. I got 14 bats on the right side I need to handle. Yeah. And then before you know it, that same gold skeleton with no head is back.
And you haven't beat the game, right? You haven't gotten that very far, have you?
No, I've been doing normal, hard, and I go touch impossible. Because, you know, like you said, the masochist in me says I can do it.
Yeah, so you haven't even gotten to, like, the black skeletons yet.
No, I have not got to the black skeletons.
They suck, dude. They suck. Like, the worst enemies for me is definitely the black skeletons or, like, the armadillos.
I've seen the armadillo once when I was messing around in Impossible. I got, like... I can't remember which song it was, but I got like more than halfway through the song. I was like, cool, this is nice. Armadillo. I didn't do enough of the tutorial for this. Because you know me, I suck when it comes to games. You give me a tutorial, I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to figure this out myself. Armadillo got to me. I didn't know what to do with my life. Felt the song because I was already like struggling. It's impossible. They're giving you like 1,000 monsters at a time. And the armadillo was the cap for me. It was like new mechanic, mid game. What do I do with it?
Yeah. And like, you know, I started with the tutorials like a normal person.
I'm sorry.
You know, no, it's okay. And as I went through the game, you know, of course it's gonna scale, right? As the further you go, it's gonna get harder and harder. And by the time I started seeing like these harder enemies, I completely forgot what they do like from the tutorial, and I just played the tutorial like 20 minutes ago. And so yeah, it's a very hard thing to always keep track of because there's a lot. There's a lot going on the screen the further you get into the game. But what I found that can really help you, of course, is staying in beat in time with the music, right? So if you know, for those armadillos, they're very tricky, right? Sometimes you got to double tap them. Sometimes I think with the red ones, I don't remember. One of them, the red or the gold one, you double tap, pause for like half a second, and then do it a third time, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So whenever like my eyes were like overwhelmed, I would try to tune into the music more to then, you know, be like, okay, this is when I hit it, because that's when the upbeat or the downstroke of the song or whatever like hits, you know, or the downbeat, whatever. So having a game that's very reliant on visuals, because you have to pay attention to what enemy is coming, like the bats, exactly like you said, you know, some of them you have to hit twice, but they like move depending on direction, or like the floating skulls, like when you hit them, they produce 2 more skeletons in the back. not only do you have to visually prepare yourself, but as long as you stay in time with the music and just have that general knowledge, I guess, or that general concept, then overall you'll be fine. But there has been a lot of times where, like in the later game, like in the late game, where it took me a while to get through the level, even on medium. They get hard, man.
I believe it. And I tell you, I am so ready for this struggle. I'm devoted already. That can't be saved. Earlier, when we were talking to Mauro said he was getting on. I was just sitting there. I was just antsy. I was like, but I want to get on. I have to go beat this game. I refuse to lose to this game on hard, and then I'm definitely coming back for impossible. Impossible's not going to beat me forever.
Yeah, I saw that with some of the levels, you got like a perfect combo.
Yes, perfect the entire way. Yep.
Dude, that's like it's so good. See, I told you, you got an S+ on the Harmony boss on hard mode.
Impossible. I did it for impossible as well.
You did?
I did. I went back for it. I was like, beat it on hard. I was like, impossible too. I'm going for it.
You did it in 1 minute and 21 seconds. You monster.
I did not miss a beat, did not get touched once, and I got every hit. It was
super impressive.
I pulled the Elden Ring. I learned the movesets. I've learned like whenever she goes a certain direction, or like she'll do like a little pose before she does something, and they'll tell you like, all right, she's about to like do like a little left right movement, or she's about to lie to you on where she's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like when she hides her face, that's like, all right, don't believe where she's going because it might not be it. So she'll like jump to the left, and you'll think about it. Do I dodge right? Do I dodge left? Which one is she doing? You just gotta like you gotta wait.
Yeah.
For like the exact moment, and then you'll see it, and then you're like, all right, I gotta go right.
And I want to talk about something that, even though it's right there in your face, it's probably not something that we're usually paying attention to as we're playing through the game. I want to talk about the art style. I absolutely love how everything looks. I love like the character portraits. I love how the enemies look and how like quirky and cute they are, even though they're like monsters and stuff. I love how like the background of each level looks. I love the vibes of the mini games, and even like the menus, right? I really like how it's like a track list, like very similar to Guitar Hero and stuff like that, but visually everything about this game is so striking, but yet like I don't know, there's a lot of hard edges to some of the designs, especially like the effects, right? But looking at Cadence, the main protagonist, like her character portrait or whatever, it's like I really like how I don't even know what's the word, like I don't want to say soft, I don't want to say like round, but like look at her hair, right? It's very there's no like there's not a lot of like super hard edges or sharp lines in terms of like how she looks. Is this making any sense?
It's not like aggressive on the details, but it's detailed enough to where it's pleasant to see.
Yeah, it's really cute. It makes me feel comfortable. Yes, I was just about to say that. Especially the mini games. The mini games are very chibi like and just very cute, and I really enjoy it. It's a really nice change of pace again from the main game and the boss fights. The boss fights are super intense and sometimes fast and loud and stuff. The main stages are like very in the middle, like has this balance of everything, but the mini games are just very cute and soft and not necessarily easy, because some of them are kind of challenging actually, but they're just really cute. It's a vibe. Like it makes me feel cozy and comfortable, like you said, that like I want to also be in that burger joint playing that mini game. I want to do yoga with Dove like in her studio and stuff. I want to also help take those pictures, whatever.
I'd say my favorite thing for the art, it would be like the music. Like obviously the game is music based, but like
yes,
I don't know if you noticed, they can't help but rock to the music. They can't help it. Like whenever music is playing, they're bouncing to the beat, and for the boss fights, like you go through the phases and the boss will stop rocking.
Yeah.
You won't attack during that moment, and the boss won't attack during that moment. During that moment where they transform, they'll sit there, and there'll be like a pause, and then the boss will start rocking to the music, and then Cadence would start rocking to the music. And then the
Yeah.
fight can start again. And I love how we can't do anything unless it's to the music.
Yeah, and that
Either way.
shows that everything in this world is revolved around the beats, revolved around the rhythm of the music, and that's also like another great thing visually. Like there is no like metronome within the game. Like there's no actual like bars coming in to meet in the middle, and that's when you hit the beats. Like in previous games, the visual metronomes are the characters like bouncing and like nodding to the music, you know, and not only them, but like the monsters do it, the combo meter does it, like everything like has this little bop to it as this like animation that goes along with the music that helps for your visual metronome, even if it's like, you know, subconscious, you know, it's there to help you, and I love it.
That will probably be my favorite thing about the art, how the art is like supporting the play style as well. It's not just there, it's not just like, hey, this is something nice to look at. It's like, hey, when you see this, take a closer look.
Yes.
It can help you, believe it or not.
Yes.
Even to the point where, like, as you know, I skipped the tutorial. It probably says it in the tutorial, so forgive me. But, like, I noticed the shapes under the monsters when they're coming down the line.
Oh, yeah.
The circles are, like, the ones that are on beat, and anything that's any other shape, just know it's not for to be on the beat. It's for to be wherever it wants to be, whenever it wants to be, on the upbeat, downbeat, or if it's, like, on a third, like there's like quarters. If it's on like a third one,
100%
ready for that.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, I'm so glad that you picked up on that without going to the tutorials. Yeah, like the circle shadows of the enemies, like those are on beats. But like the diamonds, right, are off beats, are on the 2 and 4, except for the 1 and 3 or whatever. So yeah, I'm really glad that you were able to catch that, because yeah, that's important. Those are like visual cues that you need to know if you want to hit every note. So I think the only other thing that we haven't talked about is the story. Now, something that I've always been interested in with this series is the lore, right, of everything. Like, why is Cadence going through a crypt in the first game and stuff like that? Like, who are all these other people? Obviously, I haven't gone through, beat Crypt of the Necrodancer, so I don't know everything about the lore. I mean, yes, I can look up a video or like read the wiki or whatever, but whatever.
What is that?
I know, exactly. That makes me want to know more and like still be engrossed in this world even more. I played through the story. I beat the game. I beat the story mode, and I really thought it was like cute and fun, and like I love the writing. The comedy is always there. Brace Yourself Games does a great job of writing like very fun and like quirky types of scenarios and characters and stuff like that. Like all of them are very fun. This entire story is fun, and like the premise is just very simple. Like all of these characters from the Necrodancer games are in this new world, are assuming our world, the real world, and need to close these rift portals and try to get back home. And of course, the Necrodancer is the main antagonist. Okay, great, cool. We beat him. We get everybody sent home. Bada bing, bada boom. Everything's cool. Love it. Nice, simple. It's fun. It introduces new characters that I think were introduced in this game. It's like, it doesn't have to be heavy. We're not here to know like the next chapter of the Cadence saga or whatever, the Necrodancer saga. That takes a backseat. The main thing we're here for is the music. The main thing we're here for is Danny and friends. Also, Danny, we've had one of your friends on the show. If you're listening, Riley Koenig was on the show, and he recommended you. He gave you a shout out to be a guest on the show. So, Danny, expect some emails from me. Anyways, we would love to have you on the show, man. We clearly love music in general, but we also love music in video games. And it's, music in video games is a way to like really engross or capture the player and like really transports them into the game. I feel this way with so many of the games I played. Zelda, Xenoblade, Final Fantasy. If it weren't for these awesome, amazing, memorable tracks, then it's easy to just put these games off and like, forget about them. Like hell, Banjo-Kazooie. I love Banjo-Kazooie. I love every single song of that soundtrack, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. For example, thank you, Grant Kirkhope. Anyways, the beauty in video games is how multiple types of mediums are interwoven with each other. Visuals, storytelling, gameplay mechanics, music. And I believe that Rift of the Necrodancer does a beautiful job at combining all of these aspects and creating an amazing, I think, perfect video game.
I definitely agree with you. The way I see it, like whenever you play a game, like before you can experience the story, there are always two things that your brain decides on before you think about even liking the game. It's what you're hearing and what you're seeing. So if you're liking the music and you like the way the game looks, the game basically already won to you. You just got to put the final details yourself. So like a game like this, when you open it up, it was already aesthetically pleasing. Nothing like rough to the eye. Nothing like that made you like, oh, that's too much detail to the point where it looks glitchy or this is like look like nobody even tried.
Yeah.
And then you have the music, the retro style, the nostalgia that it gives to you. The game already wins just from starting up and you clicking play to get to the first song. It wins. Story's not even there yet.
Yeah.
And I say that's in every game, not just like music based related games. Just every game you play, the way it looks, what you hear will decide if you like the game before you even get to play it.
That's beautifully said, man. This game is charming. This game is fun, most importantly. It looks great. It feels great to play. And man, the soundtrack is the best thing since Crypt of the Necrodancer and Cadence of Hyrule. You know, it's like Danny, Brace Yourself games in general, like just gets better and better with each and every entry. The more they do, the more they practice. Like clearly this is a well-polished game. And it's so apparent that so much love and effort and care has been put into this. So thank you so much, Brace Yourself Games, for allowing us the opportunity and the privilege of collaborating, partnering with you guys in reviewing this incredible game. All right, that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the Razzle Dazzle Show. Be sure to let us know what you think about this episode somewhere on the internet. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at Razzle Dazzle Show, on TikTok at Razzle_Dazzle_Show, on Blue Sky at RazDaz Show Pod, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Raz_Daz_Pod. Be sure to rate us 5 stars and leave a comment down below. We'll catch you on the next one.